Hey guys, the 23rd movie in the Bond franchise and one of the most highly anticipated movies of the year, at least for the remainder of the year, Skyfall, was released in the UK last Friday and it will be released in the US on November 9th. I got a chance to see it on opening day, and here's my review. Well, before I begin, I'd like to let you know that I love spy movies. I'm a big Bond fan. Out of the 22 movies that came before this one, I've seen at least I think 12 from all the 5 previous actors who have portrayed the title character James Bond, from Sean Connery to Roger Moore to Timothy Dalton to Pierce Brosnan to even George Lazenby, who even acted in one James Bond movie turned out and whose performance turned out to be nonsense anyway. I'm a big Bond fan. I've loved all their performances. I've loved most of the movies. I've not seen all the 22 movies. I've seen at least I think 11 or 12, and there are some I like better than others. Some have been good, some have been bad, and it's been 50 years this year since the very first Bond movie, Dr. No, was released, with Sean Connery playing the title character James Bond. This year celebrates the 50th anniversary, and they're celebrating it with the 23rd movie being released under Sony Productions and MGM, called Skyfall. Now, prior to the release of this movie, I've seen trailers, previews, behind the scenes interviews, several footages that have been released onto the internet for the past couple of months, and with every piece of footage I've seen, I've been more and more excited for this movie. It was one of my top 5 must-see movies this year. The others being Dark Knight Rises, Avengers, and most of them that came in the summer, which I've already seen already. So for the remainder of the year, this was one of those movies that was that I set aside as a must-see, with the must-see tag on it, because I was really pumped to see what they would do and how they would elevate the material from the last one, especially with the fact that speaking of the last one, which was Quantum of Solace, I was disappointed with that one. Let me be frank with you. I didn't really like that movie at all. I thought everything was all over the place. The story was all over the place. The action was mediocre. The villain was unmemorable. I mean, some things, it was just loud, dumb, silly, and stupid. Downright stupid. It was obviously, it was a low light of the whole franchise. And to be honest, Quantum of Solace is certainly not the worst Bond movie to ever come out. There have been worse Bond movies like Octopussy. There's been Moonraker. There's been Dan Another Day, that dreadful, nonsensical piece of trash called Dan. I mean, there have been so many bad movies that come. So I was really eager to see what they will come up with, especially on an occasion like this. And I knew that they couldn't afford to fuck up. They did. The producers Barbara Broccoli and Michael J. Wilson made a very critical decision to this movie by hiring Sam Mendes, Academy Award winning director Sam Mendes, to direct this motion picture. And while I was watching the movie, you could see the difference he brought. There were some things he brought, some elements he brought to the table, which weren't really present in the past Bond films. Anyway, I'll get to that later. Daniel Craig is back in his 3rd appearance as James Bond, and ever since his debut in Casino Royale, he sold me with his performance there. And I think next to Sean Connery, is probably the best Bond ever. I think he's head and shoulders above the other Bonds, really, because he brings a realistic human side to the character. He brings a really gritty, down-to-earth approach. He's a really dangerous Bond. He's not a cartoonish, generic 1960s, 1970s cartoonish action hero. When you watch him perform the role, you realize that Bond is human, and I think that's what he brought to the character. And I really I've been a fan of his since the first Bond movie released back in 2006, Casino Royale. In this one, we have a new villain played by the Academy Award winner Javier Bardem, who is, I'm also a big fan of. If you've seen No Country for Old Men, I mean, this guy was menacing. He was the devil incarnate in that movie. He won an Oscar for his performance, and he was just. When I heard he got cast for this one, that was one of the main things that actually That was what excited. That was what got me all pumped up for this one, because I'm just such a huge the guy is a terrific actor, and I knew that he was going to bring something, a fresh new element to this movie. We have two new Bond girls played by we have Eve played by Naomi Harris, and we have Severine played by Berenice Marlowe. We also have Dame Judy Dench coming back in the role of M. A new character, Gareth Mallory, played by Ralph Fiennes, terrific actor. We have a new Q, a younger Q, not compared to the other Qs of the past Bond movies. There was no Q in the last two Bond movies, the two Daniel Craig movies, Casino Royale and Quantum, so there was no Q, but we have a Q now, a younger Q, played by Ben Whishaw, and so on. Now, getting to the story, I'm going to try to avoid any spoilers, because I'm sure that most of the people that are going to be watching this video are probably seen the movie, and there are some that probably haven't seen it yet, and also I'm going to do my best to avoid any spoilers. This is a story of how M's past has come back to haunt her, and MI6 has come under attack by a cyber terrorist whose quest for revenge brings him on a path with James Bond. And as a result, it's how do I even put this up? Based on what you've seen in the trailers, I'm sure you've already seen the trailers and TV spots. James Bond's death is faked in the beginning, and MI6 comes under attack by a cyber terrorist cell connected to M's past. I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The story is great, the pacing is great, the acting, the performances in this movie are top notch. Daniel Craig, once again, he shows why he's one of the best. He deserves to be up there amongst one of the probably the best Bond to have ever played the character. Javier Bardem's performance as Raul Silva was fantastic. I really enjoyed his performance, although I felt it was a little underused. He doesn't show up until about an hour and a half into the movie, which in a way let me down a bit, but still, whenever I was on screen, I enjoyed him, I was entertained by him, which was great. The two Bond girls, Severine, played by Berenice Marlowe, the French actress, she was great in the role. Eve, fantastic. Dame Judy Dench, as usual, she's great, and Ralph Fiennes' performance was also great. There are tons of surprises in this movie, twists and turns, and some things you won't see coming. So I'm not going to elaborate on that. For those who haven't seen it, for those who have seen it, probably know what I'm talking about and all. The action set pieces were good. There's a pre-credits chase scene before the starting credits. There's a chase scene that happens somewhere in Istanbul or so. I'm sure you've already seen part of it in the trailer, so there's nothing, I'm not spoiling anything here. And there's a chase scene. That action scene is very, it's top notch. It's a great action sequence. It was shot well, and the stunt group, all the people that worked with the stunts, the camera, everyone, they all did a good job on that. There are so many great action scenes that will keep you entertained. There are great performances, great dark moments, great dramatic moments. It's just a blend of what you want in a modern day action movie. That's what this movie is. I give this movie a solid 5 stars because it's one of the best, if not the best movie I've seen this year. There's been so many good movies that have come out this year. This year has been it's like an unprecedented year for movies, and this is just one of them. It's good as one of the best movies of the year. 5 solid stars. It's up there among the best Bond movies in history, although there have been so many Bond movies that are deserving of that tag of the best Bond movie ever, such as Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Casino Royale, Goldfinger, GoldenEye, Skyfall. So there are so many movies that have been good, but this one deserves to be up there with them. So, and I say that as a Bond fan, as a long-time Bond fan, this is one of the best Bond movies ever made, period. Go see it. It's a fun time in the theater. Everything you want, if you're a Bond fan, everything you want in a Bond movie is in this one, and even more. And if you're not even a Bond fan, if you're just going to the theater to have a good time, this is the movie for you. Go check it out. You'll be entertained. And before I considering this is the 50th anniversary of Bond and everything, there are some things I want to get across. Really, this is the third Daniel Craig performance and all. This is the third Daniel Craig Bond movie. I remember by the time they were talking about rebooting the franchise back in 2005, then I was still back in high school. When I heard that the producers Barbara Broccoli and Michael J. Wilson were thinking about casting Daniel Craig, I was pissed off because I was like, "Come on, what does this guy have?" I mean, I was very critical about the choice of Daniel Craig, but when I saw what he you know when I saw it from the first scene of Casino Royale, I was sold that this guy was actually James Bond. I mean, there are so many qualities you have to have as an actor, you have to bring to the table in order to convince audiences that you're this character and you're convincing and you can play this character to the T, and that's what Daniel Craig has done at least on these three movies so far. So this is his third outing. So I want to ask you before I go, who's your favorite? Who's the best James Bond, or which actor do you think has played James Bond deserves to be up there as the best ever interpretation of the character? There have been so many actors, about 6 now, I think. George Lazenby only played it once. I think 6 that have played the character of James Bond. And which one do you think is close, at least if not on par with the interpretation of the late Ian Fleming? Which one do you think is close to Ian Fleming's interpretation of the character of Bond? Which one do you think is the best? Comment below. Let me know your opinions. You can leave your comments below and all. And if you have any questions, any comments you want to make, please feel free to leave them below. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.